Hey guys, yeah, I'm using my GoPro once again, but I wanted to come on here and start this series. It's all going to be in 4K, hopefully with no issues, where I look back on the 5 controversial things, memorable, controversial, whatever you want to call them, of 2021 as we count down to 2022 this upcoming Saturday, January 1st, because of course I am filming this on the I think it's the 16th of December, and basically the 31st is in less than 2 weeks, if you will, 15 days, and basically the first of 2022 is in basically 16 days, if you catch my drift. But anyway, I wanted to come on here, like I said, and do this series. Hopefully a lot of them will be in 4K, because I don't want to over limit, my GoPro or anything, especially with the sizes of these files and everything. But anyway, let's start off basically with number 5 here. Hold on for a sec while I do something. It just turned on a highlight there, so I do apologize. But let's start off with the number 5 controversial thing, in my opinion, of 2021, and that would be the simul releases. And what I mean by simul release is because of the pandemic of 2020 and the fact that we were slowly starting to get out of it, throughout, at the end of that year with the vaccines, being initiated, and then a lot of us getting it this year. And of course, we still have, certain COVID cases, depending on whether or not you believe a lot of what the news says about the number of cases going up or down or whatever. A lot of us have pretty much gotten the vaccine. A lot of us pretty much are immune. There are some of us that are going to get the booster and everything, like myself and my mom next week, to kind of help out. Even though we may be a little sore afterwards and everything, they do recommend having something to eat before you go and do it and all that. But anyway, getting back on topic, when I'm talking about the simul release, I'm talking about the fact that the biggest effect that the COVID had on a lot of things around the world, if not here in the US, is on the entertainment industry, mostly the movie industry. And a lot of studios basically had to, they had to basically go out and, try to, they basically tried to go out and figure some kind of way to release the movies that they, were scheduling to release, this, in theaters this year. Now, in 2020, they did make the decision, a lot of them that is, to start doing a bit of a simul release, or sometimes they make a decision of, focus on what will make more money, in the box office, and take those that would have probably been a modern success and send them straight to streaming and all that. And that's what we saw. That's what we saw. And it was an interesting decision on their part to do that. It was a very interesting decision on their part to do that. But then as, 2020 came to an end and we got into 2021, a lot of studios, mostly Warner Brothers, started to come up with another idea, if you will, to kind of get the benefit of both worlds, or kind of work around the fact that even though the vaccines were coming, there were various, if not more, information and news coming out. The cases were going down, somewhat up, but mostly down, things like that. People were still, obviously very weary about going out in public. So Warner, along with some other studios, decided, like Disney, what better solution can we come up with than to possibly not only continue this, if you will, to continue the simul releases, if you will, the simul releases as I check my time here, but to do it with same date and day. That's right. basically not HBO Max, but Warner Brothers was the first, I think, among them, that is, to come out and make the announcement that for a whole year, one whole year, starting, in late 2020 and going into 2022, that they would do simul releases of a lot of the movies. Now, of course, a lot of studios weren't thrilled about this because they, had created their films. They had, spent all this time working on the films with the actors and the actresses and all that. They basically gone through all this hard work, with the intention that the movie was going to be getting a theatrical only release. But that didn't happen. And instead, they were left with basically something that they were against, that they argued against, they fought against, they went to court over against. But mainly, had to deal with. Now, some situations, the people behind the movie did win out, and Warner Brothers and other studios that were going in this directive, relented and said, okay, your movie will be theatrical only. And that's what happened. That's what happened. But what came out of it, though, what came out of this whole situation was the whole 45-day, clause. And what that is that a movie can only be in theaters for 45 days, basically a month and 15 days, if you will, or a month and 14 days, depending if the month has the 31st at the end of it. And then afterwards, the studio will have to release it, or gets to release it, digitally on streaming, if not on the streaming platform, for on demand. So that's what came out of this. But basically, long story short, and I know it sounds like I was rambling here, long story short, the decision, not just by Warner Brothers, but by studios like Disney and Paramount and all of them, to do simul releases, of the features, of the movies that they had put so much effort into, and it basically come out and said was going to have so much promise and success behind it because of all the effort put into it. These movies now were basically not only going to be enjoyed in theaters, but we're now also in that option area of, hey, you could see it in the theaters, with other people, or if you're still worried about what's going on, you can watch it in the comfort of your own home. And that was it. The only silver lining, though, for theaters in this whole thing is the fact that places like HBO Max and Disney would limit the release to a month. That the movie would only be on their service for a month. And in the case of Disney, if you wanted to watch that movie, you had to pay an additional $30 to make up for the fact that, you were choosing to watch it at home instead of watching it on the big screen like it was intended. But this here, guys, is the first, number 5, as we count down to 2022, of the most controversial things, in my opinion, to come out of 2021. What are your thoughts of number 5? And we'll be back later with number 4.